Hi everyone, I am Mohammed Bilal and you are watching Trend Setters Academy. So today in this lecture, I will tell you about how we drag and drop a component from the screen. It's like if you want to drag and drop some image, so how you can do this, or if you want to drag or drop some button, so how you can do these things. So let's see the code. Here I am following tutorial points, so it's quite really easy. So I'm following tutorial points here. I will share a link there, okay, in my description. There you can find the tutorial points. So here is the thing present. It tells each and every theory about this drag and drop process. Okay, so let's see how this drag and drop thing works. So at first, what tutorial points right, the Android drag-drop framework allows your users to move data from one view to another view. Yeah, this is the thing. In the current they are using graphical drag and drop gestures. Yeah, okay. So in API 11, drag and drop of the view onto other views or view groups is supported. The framework includes following three important components. So if you want to drag and drop anything, so the framework of drag and drop has these three main components: drag event class, the drag listener, the helper methods and classes. So this means when you want to drag or drop something, so you must have these three events, these three classes. There's one is the listener. This might be some sort of method like click listener or view listener. Then it must be some drag listener. Okay, so you must put some drag listener there and drag event class that handles this dragging process. Okay, and there are some helper methods. Let's see what these really helper methods are here. So in drag drop process, what the thing will happen is there are basically four steps or states in the drag and drop process. Okay, the started state. Let's see in the common. Let's take an example, a common example. It's like if you want to drag or drop something, so what you do first, you first touch that thing. You want to drag some text or you want to drag some button, so what you really do, you just click on that button. The first thing is you just touch that button. What really the second thing, the second thing is you are going to drag that thing, and in last you just drop it and then you release that click. This is the thing, this is the process. So here it tells the whole story how this thing is going on. So let's see what it say. This events occurs when you start dragging an atom in a layout. Your application is called start drag. Yeah, here is the method to tell the system to start drag. The argument inside start drag methods provide the data to be dragged, metadata for this data, and callback for drawing the drag shadow. Okay, so the system first respond by calling back to your application to get a drag shadow. It then display the drag shadow on the device. Okay, fine with this thing. Next, the system sends drag event with action type action drag started to register drag event listeners for all the views objects in the current layout and blah 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 blah. Okay, fine with this thing. Let's see what it tells about. So there are four methods: the started, the continuity, the continuing, the dropped, and the ended method. So what it do? As I told you before, it start the method, then it continue. Okay, the thing is moving, and then it dropped. Okay, and in last you just release the thing. So the whole story tells this thing. The whole these four methods. It's quite take long time to read each and every line, but it does the whole thing. Okay, so what really the drag event class? The drag event represent an event is sent out by the system at various times during a drag and drop operation. This class provides a few constants and important methods which we use during drag drop process. Okay, fine, that's awesome. So we are using this drag event class. We have to use this the drag event class for the process. So let's see how we are using this thing. Okay, so there are some other methods in this class. So what really these methods are, these are some action drag started, action drag entered, action drag location, action drag exited, action drop, and action drag ended. So the name of these methods tells the whole story. You must you just figure it out. Like it just started, so this means like you start. It signals the start or drag operation. If it enters, this means okay, fine. Now the drag operation is performing and it enters in the view. Okay, and in that it's the location is found wherever you want to drag it on the screen. And in fourth, drag exited. Okay, fine, now the drag is going exit. Okay, and then you just drop it, and in last you just end it. So whatever methods are there, let's see. And there are some other methods: get action, get clip data, get clip descriptions, get result, get x, get y. Okay, and to string. Okay, fine with this thing. Like we must have some axis, x-axis and y-axis of the whole screen. So only then we can see where we want to drag and drop our data, whatever we want to do. Okay, so let's see what else the thing tells. Listening for drag event. Okay, there are some listeners. Yeah, this thing is important. If you want your view within a layout should respond drag event, then your view either implement view dot and drag listener or set up on drag event callback method. Yeah, this thing is really important, that we are using a drag event listener. Okay, so what it do, if you want to use it within a layout, like you want, there is might be some linear layout or whatever the layout is, and there is some an image is present there, and what you want to do, you want to drag that image from top to bottom of the screen. So how you do this, you just click on that. So you just allow the view of the layout, that now I am clicking here on the image, and now I'm going to drag that thing. So these listeners, so this listener, this drag event listener is important here. Okay, when the system calls the method or listener, these things, these are the background things, that how the things are working there. When the system calls the method or listener, it passes to them a drag event object explained above. Yeah, you can have both a listener and a callback method for view object. If this occurs, the system first calls the listener and then define callback. Okay, as long as listener returns true. Until and unless the listener returns true, it's just continuously defining the callback method. The combination of onDrag event method and viewOnDrag listener is analogous to the combination of onTouch event. Okay, and viewOnTouch listener used to touch event in old version of Android. So this means this is quite the latest version, and this is quite the latest thing as it tells us. Okay, so let's see how these things are working. And just theory is going long, and no. Okay, fine. Starting a drag event. How you start this drag event? You start with creating a clip data. Okay, clip data dot item from data being moved as part of clip data object. Supply metadata that is stored in a clip description. Okay, fine. Object in the clip data for a drag and drop operation that does not represent data movement. You may want to use null instead of an actual object. Next, either you can extend with drag shadow builder to create a drag shadow for dragging the view, or simple blah 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 blah. This is quite long. What it really tells us about the thing is, like, you want to start a drag event. Okay, so there might be a clip data, and what you do, there's an item and is define the description there, and it tells us how the things are moving. Okay, So here is the example. It tells the step that first you must create some application, then there is an simple single class. So this is simple single main activity Java class, and there is in third step there is some image, and it's performing the drag drop operation on some image. So it just copy an image from some place and just place it in some drawable folder. It's present in our resource file. Okay, so in fourth step, what I do is just use an activity main. We are using some activity main, and there I place the image. Okay, and in fifth step, I just run this whatever the code is there, and in fifth I just run that application and just run it. Okay, so let's see how these things are working. So first I will tell you, this is just an image. Let's see some output here and how this thing, so you can understand how these things are working here. So here is the output. You're seeing the tutorial point logo, and this is the image of tutorial points. Okay, so what you do, this person just drag and put it dropped it here. So wherever you want to drag or drop, it's up to you. So let's see how this code is working. It's not so long and it's not so creepy. Just focus on your steps and you will just pass. I'm sure about this thing. Okay, there is a single image. Okay, just forget about the strings, forget about everything. There is a single image in some layout. So what we really want to do, we have to click on that image, and what we do then, and then we just want to drag that image and place it wherever we want. Okay, so here what we do, here is some image view. You're seeing there, here is some image view, and there is some string message. Okay, fine with this thing, and it creates some relative layout here, relative layout parameters. Okay, so what you do, it just get an image from there, and it say when I click on long click listener, it what you do, image dot set on long click listener. So what I do, when I press long the image, what it do, it calls this method on long click, and here the thing is, there is some data item is present there in sequence, and you're just getting its tag. Okay, and there is some string present, it's getting these descriptions. So the thing is, it wants the data, the descriptions, whatever the tags, whatever the data about that image is. So these things are getting here. So what really the next thing is, the clip data, it's just getting the data of the drag data. So this means that if you want to drag anything, then there is a thing like, if there is some image, you are just putting it XML. You are seeing there are some properties in XML, like there is some ID, there is some height, width, layout. So these things are their properties. So when you are trying to drag the thing, so this means it must have those properties with it. Okay, so for storing those properties, these things must be enabled. Okay, so when you write these things there, so what you do is just in simple word, it's just sending its properties, the properties of the image or the properties of whatever you are dragging the data. Okay, so what you do, in last it shows that view drag shadow builder. It just creates some shadow of the image, and whatever the data is, it just creating a shadow. And in last what it do, it just say v dot start drag. So it in last it just start that drag. So this view starts the drag. So now it's starting the drag, and image in the next thing, when the dragging is start, what it do, here it gets its actions. The action drag started, action drag entered, action drag exited, and action drag location. So it must have these locations. Okay, so what you do, when you click on the button, when you click on the image, so this invoked, and it says, so finally the action is started. And then what happened here is, when the drag is start, it just gets its x-axis and y-axis. Okay, and then when the action is exited, again it gets x-axis and y-axis, and then pass it to these parameters. Okay, and then what happens when the location, it just get that location, what really that location is where you just exit your drag. Okay, and when the thing these two events, we are not using these two events. Okay, so in last what it do, it returns true. And then here is another method, it's a image dot set on touch listener. So this means at first you must touch the thing, at first you must touch, then go on long click listener, and then you're dragging the thing. So this is how the things are working on touch. It's same as I told you before. In onset, on touch listener, what it do, it just getting its data and it just start the dragging, and it show that when I am dragging, set that image visibility invisible. This means that set that place invisible where already my image is. If I just remove this text or this line, what I do, when I want to drag my image, it shows that image. This means the image is not invisible. In simple word, the image is not invisible and it shows on the screen. Okay, so this means it drags, but it shows the behavior, the behind. It's like the previous image is not invisible. Okay, so let's see how the XML is there. XML is just like you are seeing here. It's just a simple image on which we are performing a drag. Okay, and here is some image view, and this is some drawable folder where ABC image is present, and these are some layout below, aligned right, left, blah blah blah. It doesn't mean about anything, and nothing else. We don't need anything else to explain. So this is some image and it's just dragging, and you can see it. Now do long click on the display tutorial point logo, and you will see that logo image moves a little after 1 second. Long click from its place, and it's the time when you should start dragging the image. You can drag it around the screen and drop it in a new location. So this is the total thing. I hope you understand it. Okay, fine. If you like it, please subscribe for more videos. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you. Have a nice day. Bye bye. Ta-da.